Hey guys, welcome to another exciting episode of the So Nigerian podcast.
Yes, sir.
And today we have an amazing guest as always. we brought someone out of retirement for this episode. Retirement is looking good on you.
Thank you.
Very fresh.
Thank you.
It's freshly retired, but it's really looking fresh. But yeah, we brought Isaac Kanye of the Road to 30 podcast. If you know So Nigeria, you know that Road to 30 podcast is like our sister podcast. That's what we call each other. That's what we call each other. But yeah, our work ethics is not near as
We're not as serious as they are.
and as serious as they are. But still, you guys, before we go on, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you've liked, commented, comment. Make sure you're subscribed on the Spotify. Make sure you rate us 5-star everywhere. And as always, we are live at the Spotify studio. So before we go on, Isaac, we always do this thing on our pod. You guys should be familiar with him at this point because I think we do one episode.
No, we did 2 episodes with them. Actually.
We've done 2.
Yeah,
okay.
we did 2
We usually do
episodes.
like every year. So I think only last year.
Yeah, last year we didn't do.
Yeah.
Tinubul's fault, but
I'm telling you, man.
But yeah, we always do this thing on the pod where it's true self. Have you sang our song?
No, let's do that today. We're not doing that today. You guys get the gist, Sean. You guys get the gist.
we have a CTA call to action song. This one you will join us. Yes, anything just say gigi.
Okay.
Since it's Isaac also, he play my parts.
Have you subscribed?
Gay.
Have you commented?
Gay.
Have you liked?
Gay.
Have you followed?
Gay.
Have you shared? Yes.
Bro, watching another person say gay just looks very quality.
As from now, any guest you get, I guess we're saying that song. Well, yeah, we do have like a little session where we talk about our 3 songs of the week. Top 3 songs of the week. You are very familiar since you guys did that on your pod as well. So just say 3 songs that you'll be listening to this week. For me, the 3 songs I've been listening to this week are very, very I've been on my famous Pluto, Uzamas.
Yeah, what's with you on these kinds of music, man?
So, shout out to my boy in Benin taking over the industry.
Why they claim my brothers? Which one is your people in Benin?
This guy cannot speak.
That's true. You're from Benin, are you not?
I'm not from Benin. I'm from
Okay,
Edo
but
State.
Edo State.
This guy cannot speak anything I do. This
It
guy
doesn't matter. That's still my guys.
has never been to Edo State before.
It doesn't matter. That's
But
still my
it's
guys.
still his hometown.
It's still my hometown.
Yeah. I've been listening to 2 songs off famous Pluto album. That's the last one of the Uzama. That one they try.
I'm telling you, I like that one.
3
though. I like
talented
Famous Pluto.
artists.
Yeah.
3 talented artists.
So Ewo with his brothers.
Okay.
And then Osusu. Hey!
Okay.
Another nigga, Susu, man, yeah, the 2 songs. And the last one is Dr. Love, Young John, and LAX.
Interesting top 3. As do you want to go next?
Mine is different too. So P Square.
I trust your taste in music.
Yeah, so P Square. Say your love.
Say your love, no they lie. Say your feelings, no they
I thought I trusted your taste of music, but for us to like what you like, there's an issue.
Bro, growing up here in my dad's car, like when I was much younger, like my father just so those P Square CDs was always playing like
that's an OG right there.
Oh, solid.
That's an OG.
Solid. So that one, let me see. What else did I add to my likes recently? Love Story by Indila.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a
I
jump.
don't know if you know this song. You know the song?
Dami knows all
Well,
these.
it might not be
famous
down
Pluto.
you know if famous Pluto.
Don't worry.
And then Redbone, Childish Gambino.
Oh,
I know.
yeah.
That was my uni jam was.
Yeah,
I was 16,
that was like 2018 there about 2017.
Yeah, that was a jam.
Yeah. Anyways, good top 3. Better than Damis. For me, I've been in my Jay-Z bag lately, so...
you did jam Jay-Z.
I hear it.
I just discovered Jay-Z.
So, my number 1 will be No Hook by Jay-Z.
Okay.
He really spazzed on that. It was more like a freestyle, so just going and going and
Sing something for this song.
You want me like
he took a jab, not a jab, he took a jab at Frank Lucas, and like that was my favorite line. He said something like, don't compare me with, don't call me a rapper, I'm a trapper, because you can't be comparing me to someone like Ludacris. compare him to someone like Frank Lucas. So Frank Lucas is like a OG gangster that ended up snitching his guys and all that. So he said, so that's my favorite line from the song. Then next would be Military. I'll be Militarian by J-Hus. It's been in my head for a minute.
That's a jam.
That's a jam too. That's a solid jam. So yeah, that's my top 3.
Okay.
Yeah, not bad. Before we go on, today, one of this episode is special because this is just aftermath of the last and final episode of the Road to 30.
This guy said afterward, like, say it's quick, just after.
I'm telling you. It's quick now. I nearly cry when I see the notification and say, oh, Road to 30.
No, you know what pay me? Because for months I've been... Since Isaac told me, like, I've been begging him, like, just think of how you can just continue. Say after 30, you change the name to after 30 or something. But he's like, nah, man.
And it just shows, like, obviously, like, their minds were made up. You know, Dolly, shout out to Dolly. Dolly, if you're listening. Dolly has to go to work. That's why she's not here. Yeah. But I think the thing is, where everybody tries to convince Isaac, everybody tries to convince Isaac.
No, he already says his mind.
Before I say something, I've thought about it, and that's that. And luckily, we were able to agree that this should be it.
But was she fully in on it?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Like, she never argued against it?
Yeah, you know, we actually announced we're ending this year 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, we just brought the dates back up 6 months, that's all. We're always going to end this year. We knew from, like, 2023. So it's just that we had to bring the date up. But
you brought it up because of the love of the game, or?
No, we brought it up because it was just time, you know. Like, it's always good to drop the mic before someone tells you to leave the stage. You know that thing, like in church, like when you're giving testimony and you start playing, So before you get there, it's best to just quickly do your own, drop it and go. Plus, I think external circumstances, right? But this is the best time that we could have done. That's why we tried to push for 280, so that it will be a round figure, and we try to cover as much of our listeners' feedback as we could, voice notes, everything. So to make it a more wholesome ending thing. But we call it a celebration of life, not necessarily like an end to the podcast, right? So, and it's our IP, so you never know in the future anything we want to do. Maybe when we turn 60, you can always come back and say, what was your 30s like, or 20s, and then you do something.
Yeah, just, you know, that's literally the MO of this episode. This episode is Navigating 20s, and, you know, Isaac he'll be 30 next month.
My 20s don't finish.
This month, sorry.
Happy July, by the way.
Yeah, so July 21. If you subscribe, please just find me and send me a happy message.
Yeah, just watch his vlog. So, exactly. You know, who else? A freshly new 30-year-old that to tell us more about, like, Navigating 20s and how
I'll text you that morning to see how you're feeling. If you're feeling like if the oldness is... if you just wake up and feel like, my back is feeling or something.
Nah.
You just feel, you know, so that's literally... The podcast was Road to 30, and now they're 30, and they've decided to end the pod. That's why he's here to tell us about Navigating 20s before he enters full retirement. And like, you know, it was just an amazing experience, man. We've had a very close, you know, if you listen to Nigeria, you know that we always had a very close relationship with Road to 30 podcast, and it was a bittersweet moment for us. But Isaac had told since last year, so guy, you go to end now.
It did not, even till now. Like, even yesterday, I was telling you, like,
so I used to understand, you know, I cannot even imagine that actual listeners are like, they are core listeners, you know, because we tried so much. I just, no.
I even checked the comments on, like, the last episode, and like, people were like, come on,
people
man.
Are crashing out in our DMs,
bro. So we understand, like, bruh, I understand the mind frame towards this, man, because there's just, you know, relation control, like stepping down, knowing when to step down is very important, and just like, you know, is that moment and is that time, I guess. But one thing is they have 7 hours episodes, they have 6 hours, they have the longest, they hold the record for the longest Nigerian podcast episode.
7 whole hours.
Top 3, actually.
Top 3. They have
7.5, 6.5, 6:15.
That's a whole ass record.
So
I think the most I've seen ever is 4 hours on another podcast.
Not 4 hours on their own.
No, like that's what I'm saying. Like when I saw that 4 hours, like I was like 4 hours. Then I saw the 6 hours they did like last week. I'm like, what's going on, man?
The longest episode we've ever recorded was an episode with them.
True. That was like 3 hours.
I always tell this story here, and I never get tired of telling it. How like before we dive, just like now, before we even dive into the episode of this thing, we had all kind of like 1 hour unwind.
Bro, and like me and Adam thought we had like that was the episode. Yeah. I was like, let's start. Let's start.
We knew the topic ahead and we knew like everything we had prepared, but I'm just like we're never getting there. Like bro, they're just very comfortable when you hear Isaac and Dolly
pre-episode.
So in our head, we're just like, okay, like, you know, it was more so of, okay, this is their own crazy process. And at that time, your own guy, even though they would wipe me.
Bro, my belly don't they do grrr. I swear.
We didn't expect we would do like, it was 2 hours, 50 something minutes.
Yeah, I think you know, we've done 2 episodes with them.
Yeah.
But the second one was longer though.
Yeah, the second one was longer. Just like, and I think we even came from the mainland, came from fire. So like, we're just, you know, we're just like, this is crazy. So I'm not imagining. Sometimes when I record that one, Isaac already be.
Isaac, is this clown? For something minutes, that means giving manager a sign. How many minutes to this clown? No, we have to speak of the legacy. 3 hours, nothing less than.
You guys, our next episode is going to be 6 hours.
6 hours. Bro, are you ready? Bro, are you giving me sign now? Are you ready?
Bro, don't check out. No one do it.
You go edit, you go cry.
I think what helps us is like I genuinely do enjoy it, and it's our own IP. So nobody, like, we don't have the external influence in any sense. So like you said, the creative process, most times we just go, right? Someone even wrote in and said, they explained it in Hausa once, that there's a word for it where you just like warm your mouth first. Because you can be listening to us and then it's like 1 hour and you're like, oh, hi guys, this is the... And you're like, wait. Like, now where that podcast, they end with this and I just start. So it's just one of those.
Yeah.
Congrats, by the way.
Thank you.
It's really not easy, man, and it was very, 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 very inspiring. Do you understand? Like,
Thank you.
It has not actually been easy, man. Like Isaac, Kanye, and I, we have different conversations, just like, you know, pushing. And the thing is, you guys even understand the impact of you guys have with the Nigerian podcasting community and you know the industry as a whole. Yeah. You know, we used to have conversations as Kanye and I will have conversations like, you know, like, don't you think we are doing this for the next generation of Nigerian podcasts? Like, we'll have those kind of like, you know, brainstorming sessions and saying, okay, what can we do to push this further? What can we do, you know, how is the industry expanding and what are the things that are adding to it? And that's why I just even that, I think 6 a.m. I woke up, so I said in the discussion, I just dropped some Kanye Heartfelt tweets.
Yeah, like, I saw it.
You know what conversation I remember? You know, I don't know if you guys remember, we had one group call one time to discuss how brands can focus on selling on podcasts. I don't know if you guys
remember. That night.
Yeah, it was all night. It was like, guy, like, how do we get this sponsorship? Let's all come together and brainstorm. But from that period, I could already tell, like, Isaac was like, man, fuck it. Let's just be doing it because we are doing it, not really for the body at all.
Yeah, they've done 3 live shows. You know, unfortunately, we have been at 2. I couldn't be at the 4. Yeah. Is it 4?
Yeah, we did one in 2019 before
Are you serious?
Yeah,
before podcast.
I don't think we had even started our podcast.
No, we hadn't met you guys then.
Yeah, and you did a live show.
Yeah, in Ikeja.
I'm aware of the one at Harvey Cafe.
Yeah,
Harvey Cafe. Then I didn't come for the second one. I can't remember. I think I was preoccupied. And the last one in December.
Yeah. When I call you OG, you be dodging it. But you're doing live show before we even started. That's some serious OG.
So it just shows the dedication and the work that they put into it. And I'm just here to give you your flowers. And I'm just like,
thank you. Like, I appreciate it.
If you guys know about Nigerian podcasting, you just know the efforts that we've been doing it for 5 years, and we don't have as nearly as much episodes as they have.
But still, clap also 40 minutes.
No, it's not about that, guys. 5 years is something.
Well, true.
Yeah, consistency. I mean,
podcasts that people only do 12 episodes and dip.
There's literally statistics that most workers don't get past the 7th episode.
You know, actually, we We did like a few episodes and then stopped for a while.
And then stopped.
Yeah, then we picked up.
What happened, I think at that time was feedback. Feedback was one of the things, So one thing about podcasting is it's always going to be there.
Yeah.
You understand? Like, then when they are 60, when they're doing road to 60.
Yeah. I'll be there for a second.
When they're doing road to 60, when they're doing road to 60, you can listen to their road to 30 and say, okay, this is Isaac and Dolly's journey throughout what was going.
Yeah.
And their podcast is so emotional. Like, there's so many things that they put into their podcast in terms of like their life, So we don't even put me and Isaac and I do Isaac. So now we don't even put as much as that much of into our lives into the pod because we have like subject matters. Then they actually like
Clean
talk
slate.
more about their journey and things, and when you hear Isaac's thoughts on religion, politics, men's mental health,
very interesting.
All those things, they dive deeper into that. And Dolly's like the emotional compass of the and then Isaac is more of the logical. So they always have, even there are times of like, don't cry.
No, I'm not crying. It's a lot, like, because I haven't truly processed it. So hearing this from a third party is not easy. I appreciate it.
I told you yesterday that when you feeling more is like on the days you're meant to record. Like
next week Saturday.
Saturday you would feel like usually I do something on Saturday.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, you feel it.
Funny thing is, I was already making notes of what to talk about the next time. I'm telling you. And then because I have this book where I plan like the episodes, so all the key things I would like to touch on. So after the last episode, we were reading some letters and then I was making some notes and I was like, you know what? Let me just make this for myself because there's no more recording to happen. So it's still, the habit is still there. It's like people that they tell you they retire, but then like 2 weeks later, it's them going back to work to grade their guys.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel now.
Yeah. Before we even convinced him to come on this episode, I was like, man, I'm retired. Like, just come before he settles in deep. So like, it's just the kind of like dedication to be able to drop 280 episodes is mind blowing.
It's no joke. You guys
also on 139 or so. We've there was a year 2021. They dropped every Sunday for 52 weeks.
Can I say something to that?
Yeah.
From 2019 till the break-in transmission episode, we didn't miss a week. It was like 2.5 years.
Straight up. No break.
1 hour plus
every
episodes.
Week. Boom. From when we started till that break-in transmission episode. Week. It was fun. Nigeria was different then. There was light. And like we were younger, right?
Yeah.
So we're younger. We wanted to do it. We enjoyed it.
There was so much talking about.
There was a lot to talk about. And then like you always say, I think there are 2 phases of the Nigerian podcasting landscape.
Yeah.
There's times when we started.
Yeah.
Before the era where people were saying, collect their mics or videos or all that.
Kind of
there
stuff.
was that era before where people were genuinely just having a good time in conversation.
Yeah.
Right. And you can see the switch now. It takes like you guys like OGs that can still say, okay, let me stay in my lane and do what I'm good at.
Yeah.
Right. Before this whole thing became a thing, like it was easier for us then. So
this guy's this is SoundCloud era.
Exactly. Like we always say it, right? Like we were even you now, we're podcasting before Spotify came into the country.
Yeah.
Then I remember we're talking about hosting, finding where to all those.
We used to be on Clubhouse.
Exactly.
2020.
Exactly.
Yeah,
remember by the time COVID came, we had been podcasting for a while. So it's one of those, like the first, I think it's 2.5 years, if I remember clearly, we didn't miss an episode. 1 week. Every week.
That time, Isaac and I can go for 1 month break.
I'm telling you, I'll just see your podcast, then I won't see anything. Later, say, we have come back.
This is actually very nonchalant.
Very.
In this that space period, like people will be texting like when is the next episode dropping?
I used to harass this guy now.
We do not even have a definite. That's one of the things that one of the problems we had when we had like a meeting end of the year, like okay to plan for the next year or that stuff. So we want to tackle consistency in terms of like every Monday drop this episode. If you guys say Sundays, this guy have been dropping every Sunday like 6 a.m. episode is up and ready.
But to be honest, sorry. I think one of the things that failure are consistency, which is what we'll talk about soon. You see, we've done like 30 minutes, we've never started our discussion. But because like it was like our early 20s and we're still figuring out, like for me, I didn't know how to like plan my time with work. I was still doing house hunting and all those things. So it was really hard for me to now sit down and say, let me come and record podcast. But I mean, as a last year, I was able to figure out everything and like the consistency has been there. So
we're just one of the things we have to just like tackle. Even if I think we slacked on like 2 Mondays this year.
Yeah, you have.
No, but even the 2 Mondays that
we dropped end of that. We just end up like, you know,
week, yeah.
like now there are 2 episodes. Somebody was like, oh, I want to say, but sure that there are 2 episodes, and it's because we still have to like put in the work and it's dedication, and it's really not easy. Also, 6 months. This guy did it for 2.5 years. Like, it's crazy.
I'm not 2.5. Did you guys? How long break did you go on?
We went on a 6-week break. I traveled.
Oh, okay.
Then I came back and we went again straight for 1 year. But the issue was we enjoyed that first break too much. So we then started taking annual breaks. Not because we felt like, let's just do it. So usually we would stop recording in July so we can both travel, come back, start again September.
Yeah.
Yeah. But once we were around, we're always home.
Yeah. I mean, it just showed that, you know, there was more structure towards, you know, the creative process and all that kind of stuff. Even when we went to record with them and everything, you know. Even, do you guys still have that pillow where you sign?
Yeah, we do. We do.
And a lot of memorabilia and
we do.
Do you know, sell it to your fans.
Do you know the funny thing here? Do you know the funny thing here? I feel like, do you know the funny thing? Like, my laptop hard disk has crashed like 3-4 times. Like, I've lost old episodes.
Don't worry.
Without the files, I can't even lie to you. You know, even last year, I don't think we have some of them. We don't have them. I can't lie to you. And Isaac, hard drive, everything. So I feel like I even pray for your grandkids. This was my 30s.
No, facts. So you know me, I am.
But I mean, the thing with podcasting is there for life.
It's there for life, but we also have some unreleased episodes.
Are you serious?
Yeah, we have like catalogs of stuff that maybe later. Yeah, it never made it. Maybe because you know what we're talking about then was a bit. Like you guys said, we're putting our hearts into it. Some conversations, maybe the Nigerian landscape wasn't ready for. Yeah. Right. So we didn't put them out then. And then a lot of like behind the scenes stuff. So, you know, like you said, our creative process sometimes we hit record and then we can go into the deepest stuff. And then we're like, this shouldn't be out there. Then we cut it off and stuff. So we have at least 3 hours of unreleased catalog.
Wow.
Yeah. And like, unlike you, I have like everything from episode 1 till date is saved somewhere.
We started recording that time with, I had the Samsung phone. So I had a converter. Yeah. So either we'll go to Isaac's dad's church or we'll do it inside our Dami's car, his mom's car. That's how like it was haphazard.
Anyhow.
There's sometimes like if you listen to our oldest episodes, you can hear a bird chirp.
Normal. You hear car horn. You hear people talking in the back.
The one time one recording session in Isaac's house, I think somebody gifted his dad Toki.
Into the house. Girl, you just give me crazy PTSD.
You know that like you got some point like we're trying to record, but that Toki was just like then we would go. Yeah, we now look like talking, say, I beg down. So
I think somebody went to I think carry
lock inside the cage or something.
Lock inside the cage or something
like bro, so those are like some of the struggles that we did. That time we would also have conversations on like, okay, what we're using to edit.
Yes, now I remember now those days. But again, that's what I'm saying. Then we could get away with those things.
Yeah.
Like, because it was for the game, it was new. Right? I remember sometimes it would be Dolly and I then we'll be talking. And when I'm editing later, I'll just be hearing my neighbors making noise at the back. I'll be hearing like maybe a car horn. I'll be hearing, and I was thinking, do I remove this? How do I remove this now? Do I cut out this? But I was like, no, let's just run.
Sometimes I was like, that time, some listeners that listen to Nigerian, like, you can hear NEPA siren. Like,
I swear.
You can hear
bro, the most random things. I know all these preparing modes, like, we can be 30 minutes in, and then we'll just hear one crazy sound. and there's no editing or anything, so sometimes we might have to start again from the beginning.
Really? There's a time it's like we have to start again.
We'll start again,
bro.
beginning.
Start again.
Because we don't want
I know.
any sound or anything.
Any
I
sound.
know me, I used to keep.
So like, it just one point here, we just like, man, fuck it.
Exactly. From
And
the
then some listeners will say like, oh yeah, we had the FIR, they brought like to do
It's funny, when we started and before my editing got good, there were some times that they would take lights, right, on the episode. And because we were new then, we didn't know how to, we'd just be like, hey guys, conversation will just change. So you just be hearing one thing, then conversation will just change. And you're like, what's going on? It's like, we're just managing and they took light. But what started happening was as we kept getting on, Dolly was now like, we just say they took light. And since then, it became a running joke. Because sometimes we can be talking, next you just hear pow. And then we're coming back, our voices are lower before it picks up. And like, guys, they took light too. Sorry, that's just it. That's just it. We're running like that.
But that's literally the Nigerian process. Like, being a creative or is literally what the journey was. And obviously, like, we're excited for you guys, your new chapter. You guys can watch He's going to be vlogging his 30s.
Yeah.
So his vlog is still 40s.
Road to 40s.
His vlog is road to 40s. His vlog is road to 40s. So you guys can like watch, just follow up with,
Isaac Kanye on YouTube.
Isaac Kanye on YouTube. Yeah. And just like see the journey. So obviously like now that you're 30, you're in as 3 weeks to your birthday or 2 weeks. So, we are both, sure your birthday is at least 1 week after.
Yeah, it's 1 week now. July 14th now. July 21, so solid.
I remember one of your birthday that we're supposed to do surprise.
Yes,
and then I got stuck in traffic. They don't do the surprise.
They don't do the surprise. They surprise you.
They call me on.
They surprise you.
Yeah, I think I just turned back. I didn't even. I was like, man, I just can't because, bro. But yeah, like, being that like now you're heading to 40s. What did you always imagine your 20s would look like growing up? Do you understand?
My 20s, when I was younger, I thought that by my 20s, I would have married, bought car, built house. You know that time in secondary school when you guys are talking about ambition? Now, by the time I'm 25, I would have built a house.
Yeah.
I'd have done my master's, maybe kids, right? By 27, maybe by then I'll be in a position to maybe I'll be building my second house in the village.
Yeah.
I'll be doing something like that. I'd have traveled to 5, 6, 7 countries. But one moment, it didn't turn out like that. As in, it couldn't be further from it, man. Right? It's like, first of all, you're still in uni at 20-something, right?
Bro.
So it's not exactly the way you thought it to be at all. Then Nigeria happens, and then you're like, is this really... But yeah, when I was younger, I thought it was going to be a lot more interesting, more dynamic, more fun. It was fun, but not in the ways that I would have expected it to be.
Yeah.
Right? So like, living the life I lived, it was fun.
Even at that time, like growing up when you're like secondary school, you're like, I want to get older, like live the life, no restrictions, all those things. That was even the fun time. I can't even like my best part of my life. I'm sorry, secondary school, boarding school, man.
No, I think there's a truth to that.
I cannot even lie to you that how I look here enjoyed my life then. Do you understand?
Yeah, there were no worries back then. Like, probably just worrying about
why
you doing your assignments,
why I can jam,
or like your exams coming up, or like bills and all that. Now,
me, like at that time, do you understand? Like, yeah, like that why dates at jam is a certain time. So
So you can.
So the other time of my life, boarding school, just playing football, writing love letter, like.
For me, I actually preferred. I think if I was to rate it, I think my uni period was way better than my secondary school for me.
Did you do uni here?
No.
Obviously, that's why.
Yeah. New country. That was when I said that thing on that episode we did together that Mami Wata know they get passport.
Yeah, because
like exactly, those things you be worrying about in Nigeria. Full soft.
But how was it like? Did you have family there?
Yes and no. So I had a bit of family, and my parents used to come when necessary.
But you would say you spend like your early 20s figuring stuff out by yourself?
Yeah, from 16 actually, 16 till 23. Yeah, so, and those were my formative years. So it was what really helped me to be who I am. It's what really shaped my 20s, just not in the way I thought. It's hindsight now that makes it make sense.
Yeah.
But then it wasn't.
So I'll just always wonder, like, the way you even talked about how, obviously, like, the way you envisioned your 20s, and that's this for everybody. The way you envisioned your 20s when you're much, much younger was obviously, like, far different from the way it turned out to be.
Yeah.
So, like, during that 20s, have you ever felt like behind track or felt like, more like you just felt behind, like, your goals or your vision?
You're not looking.
Then end up, like, freestyling through, or just like, I'm just freestyling through.
Locked in. And to be honest, different times I felt behind, different times I felt ahead. Other times I've just realized that I think my greatest lesson was that, the journey is your own, right? It took me a while to get to that point. I think everybody does get there. When I was like 21, 22, I felt I was ahead, right? Then, because I was working in the UK, I was doing my master's. I had my own apartment. I was like self-sufficient. So it was good. I felt like I had, because I looked at my peers and, some people were still being supported. So I felt ahead. I started to plan. I was never really all those 5-10 year goals people. But the next year, I knew what I wanted to do, right? So I felt ahead then. By the time I came back to Nigeria, early, like that 24, 25 period, that COVID period, I started to feel behind. Because during COVID, I got exposed to a lot of people's thought process. So everybody was tweeting, talking, making content. And then I started to see things I always wanted to do that I couldn't do. So I started to feel behind in a sense, right? And it was just purely because I was exposed to people's lives too much. And I've always been saying it, like, part of my retirement now is I'm disappearing from the internet, right? I'm just going to be posting and disappearing. Because I think I've over-consumed people's lives. It has gotten to that point of like porn, where it's like, I'm seeing the life I want to live to the point that I'm living it through them, that I'm not making my own moves.
Yeah.
So that by the time I got into my, at least the last few years, that's when I started to feel like, okay, the race is actually mine. I'll give you an example. Like, we podcasting when we started, right? We, at the time we started, we felt ahead, because there was no reference, there was no playbook, right? But as things went on and the space globally blew up, you now start to be exposed to other people's successes. You now start thinking, maybe I'm not, maybe I should, maybe I can. Then, you now start getting these feelings of, maybe I am actually behind, maybe I was just deceiving myself. But once you navigate through those phases and you realize that, truly, there's no I'm behind or I'm ahead. It's like I'm where I need to be as at when. And then it starts to help you mentally. And I think that's where I am now. I'm still not a 5-year, 10-year planner. But I know that at least now, 2 years, 3 years, I know the idea of what I want to do. I don't know exactly how I'll do it, but I know the idea of what I want to do. So, yeah.
I think, sorry. In addition to what you said, there's this, I think we were even speaking to this guy last week,
STG.
Isaac. Not STG. We don't want to name drop, but so there's this like kind of like audio, it just speaks about this age of the internet, as long as we're on the internet, as long as there's social media, and I speak about this a lot on the pod, you're constantly comparing yourself subconsciously, do you understand? And I feel like when you continue to consume that content and you continue to subconsciously compare yourself, you just let down who you actually are. You let down, like, you're literally letting down yourself. So I feel like similarly to what you kind of like spoke about, because obviously when you're 21, 22, you kind of like had more control of your life and more control of yourself, because of like, you knew what you wanted for yourself, but immediately started to consume, see other people's life. Bro, all fingers are not equal. Your journey is not my journey. Like, it's one of the reasons why, fun fact, I don't really listen to other people's podcasts, because I don't want to lose the identity of So Nigerian. I will listen and then I'll start saying, you know what?
Maybe we could.
At one time, maybe we could do this,
I understand.
At one time, I listen to Celia Accra, I'm like, maybe we can do this in this way, Obviously, like, I understand the aspect of inspiration and getting, but there's something that makes Road to 30. I can say, okay, I want to start doing 6 hours episode like Road to 30. Do you understand? Like, that's like you said, their IP, that's what they're known for. Those are like the things, the way you guys put so much emotion and everything about, I would never have Isaac's thoughts on religion. Do you understand? I never
I would like to hear the thoughts on religion because he has been so particular
I
about
know,
it.
just go and watch some. You gotta listen to some of that
no,
episodes. It's much more. He has a little bit of like liberal and critical thinking towards subject matter like that. You know, me, I would never have that. You know, that level of thoughts and conversation. I think they're kind of person where you can say something and you say, oh, you know what? Why don't this happen instead? You know, that kind of thing. You know,
Sorry, just not to cut it short.
Yeah.
So I wrote an article, I think last month or so, and then he read it, and then he sent like a voice note or something, and like broke it down, and I'm like, I never really thought from it. So like he questioned my thoughts,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay. So and I saw it with I think 2 days ago where they said how you know an intelligent person is like they ask questions that you never really thought about. Do you understand? So I now thought of him because like I enjoy conversations with him because like this is how he reasons and everything.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Even every time I'm having like brainstorming sessions, I'm like, oh, you know what, like what can we do about this podcast here? This kind of thing. Like, you know, and I'm going to miss that conversation like man, because now that it's retirement.
I mean you can just come as a consultant.
You guys need podcasting consultancy.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, why not? Why not?
So yeah, like I would just obviously I'll miss those conversations, but you as you said it now, add podcast consultancy your LinkedIn.
Yeah, I'll add it. Actually, I should add it on my LinkedIn.
I mean, but it just shows that, you know, like I said, I didn't even want to, even with Sonajo, I didn't want to like remove that creative points. Like there's a vision that I have for the podcast, so all those things. So I felt like if I started to consume other people's, especially Nigerian, you know, I would want to emulate Nigerian, African. I would want to emulate, I want to copy all that kind of stuff and just lose the identity and the vision for the pod. Even if I listen or watch podcasts to be abroad, you know, because it's a way I can, you know, stylishly like get inspiration and pick one or thing and cover it in like Nigerian way. So, you know, it just shows in addition of that, you know, losing yourself, you know, just, you know, comparing yourself. And that's how most people's 20s end up being, you know. You obviously had a vision for your life when you were much younger, 18, 19, 20. And then just because of social media, so many things have just, you know, and so yeah, like that's just how it is, man. Obviously, we can't say so Nigerians going to be like roasted going on from now because, like we said, you know,
you can try 6 hours now.
pick up your legacy.
Let your producer want you.
Well, yeah, like
you were going to say something before. Do you remember when I was talking about? Okay,
it was my 20s. The article, you know.
Okay.
No, I think I already talked about.
Yeah. So I guess that's it, man. But like, what's one thing you feel like somebody told you before, like, oh yeah, trying to get through your 20s? You also something like you wish you knew before you go into your 20s, or there's so many things. There's so many things that so many things that I personally like. I wish I knew. Like, I just wish somebody was able to not like on my 20s.
But you still get time now.
That was much time.
That means in his late 20s already.
And now, but still now.
But I guess I just wish I knew more about purposeful living, I guess, you know. And I really wish I documented, you know, that's one thing that it pains me, even like thinking about episodes, you know. There's so much, what I've realized, you know, growing up is there's so much memories can do into like your whole, you know, right now I take pictures and videos anytime now. I didn't used to be that kind of person. I don't even think I have videos for my uni as much. Do you understand? Like my uni, that period, I did not really have, you know, it was until like NYS, not even NYS, I don't even think I have all those things, you know.
Yeah.
So like there's something like memories does. It just kind of like you remind yourself of who you were.
Yeah.
And it helps me remind myself of, okay, I was at this stage of my life where I thought of this, I behaved this way, I did this, I had this character. And it just helps me transcend into, okay, well, this is where I'm going to, like, you know, because just like you compare. If I want to compare, I'm comparing myself from last year to myself from this year. If I'm comparing to Nigerian, I'm comparing to Nigerian analytics from last year to Nigerian analytics. Do you understand? That's what I wanted to do. So it was more so of, you know, having that, okay, well, you know, I finished my savings. I finished with this number of savings last year. This year, I'm trying to do double, so all those kind of things. I just wish I was able to document my life better into like kind of like setting a vision of my goals and ambitions for myself. So like that's one of the things I knew. Aside from other things of like maybe learning more about like emotional intelligence at the early stage. But those things were not taught. Those are not things that are taught in schools or taught in uni or taught to kids.
You learn with time.
You learn with time and experience or self-thoughts. You just actually go and, so those are things that kind of like will help your whole, growing up, just learn. Even at the workplace, you understand people's emotions. Why does my boss act like this?
Yeah.
You understand? You understand that, okay, all those things were just like things that I was just able to learn with time. So that was one thing that you wish you knew. Please document your life. I'm not even going to lie.
100% I agree with you with documenting my life. So I remember back in uni, there were some people who had started YouTube then. And I thought it was cringe. Because every small thing, they've brought out phones and they've made videos. Then people weren't really using like big cameras then.
Yeah.
Right? I always thought in uni that it was cringe. But a lot of them now, they are, I don't want to name drop, like they are heavy. Like there are some people I went to uni with that if I tell you, you won't believe because of where they are now. Right?
You can name drop.
I remember in uni, I used to see this guy. He used to play for Huddersfield. What's his name? This black guy that his dad also played in Prem. Can't remember his name. I also used to see this guy, Will Hughes. Also, Will Hughes.
Oh, what?
Yeah. So, trust me, it was like crazy. Like we used to, but that's just one side chat. I think I agree with the documenting your life part. I think I wish I did that more. So I used to take a lot of pictures then, but I never posted them. Right. And because I never posted them, I could never break that inner shame of making videos. Right. It's why I started my YouTube like a couple years ago, because I was like, let me actually just start making videos. Right. And just yesterday, my dad was showing me, he has like a bunch of folders this high of my baby pictures. Right. I'm telling you. And
crazy.
He showed me like my baby pictures. I was looking at his own pictures back all the way to like late 70s, early 80s, right? And I was now gisting with him that he could have been an OG vlogger if he knew what things were, because like he has stacks this high of his pictures from when he was younger, NYSC, all the way, black and white pictures, all the way through to now. And I was like, this is beautiful because now I can go back. I wish I did that a bit more for myself. So I think that was one documenting. I think the other thing is, as I've gotten older, I've seen that now when person wake up in the morning, right? Because there are some lessons that you learn in life. The only problem is you're designed to learn them late so that by the time you say it, the next person will learn it late too. Right? So I think it's just one of those things. Like when you truly find yourself in life, it's always late. It's always after heavy experiences. Could it be earlier? Maybe. But it usually comes late. It's like even with our pod too, we say it all the time. Now we have like 16, 17-year-olds listening. Right. And I'm jealous of you guys because you can see the human aspect of your 20s and you'll be able to make better decisions. Right.
Yeah.
And even goes in general to the podcasting space now, the conversations you guys have.
Yeah.
Imagine you were listening to this at 16, 17. Imagine someone telling you at 15, then document your life. Eventually, after hearing that every week for like 1 month, let me carry camera.
Actually.
So those kind of things. I think the other one that I wish someone told me was that it was going to be rough. I wish people were a bit more honest about the difficulty of your 20s, right? The difficulty of self-discovery, the difficulty of comparison, the difficulty of women, the difficulty of all those kind of things, money. Like if somebody was more honest instead of giving us all those, don't worry, you'll be fine. Not God, you'll be fine. You're rough. I wish people were a bit more honest that, bro, there will be days you wake up and you're like, man, I feel just jump. And there are days you wake up and you're like, nah, this is the best I've ever done.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. I wish people were a bit more honest about the difficult aspect of it. I think in life, we all shy away from being honest about difficulty. Right, like you might love somebody.
I think in addition, I feel like it's more of the Nigerian mentality. Like you're trying to project. Don't project negativity. Don't. Meanwhile, they're just being honest.
Even
if you tell me, oh no, your test is going to be very hard. It's going to be very difficult. Obviously, I'm just like, I'm not like you. That's an average Nigerian mentality. Just, So I feel like because of that, it just kind of like conditioned people to always want to project a level of it's not that hard.
They try to be optimistic.
They try to be optimistic.
Toxic positivity. That's what's going on in Nigeria.
Even in our schools, like down to the way they teach, like they don't tell us what it is. So even for example, in biology, they won't say penis. Maybe it's at a later stage. You start hearing like maybe SS3. I think the first time the teacher literally said penis to my school was like SS2, SS3. They will say that thing. Do you understand? So they feel like their words maybe carry so much weight. So they won't tell us how it is. They won't. So I remember very much from primary school, they would say, if you read your book and you pass, don't worry, you're going to make it. Like that's the only way out.
We read our book and you've passed.
Exactly. We read our book, we've passed. Some of us have passed anyways. We read our book, we passed, and I mean, it's still not coming good. In short, my 20s has shown me, which is something I was even telling him on when we were coming here. We that are doing this legitimate hustle in our 20s, we're not really, not everybody's job, but like, we're not getting it as much as the guys are like, they're like, fuck school, and guy had niggas dropping out of school, and now today they're like living in what they call this Eco Atlantic, do you understand? Like they're balling, do you understand? And like, this is not what they told me as a child, do you get? I'm not saying like I'm not saying if they had told me as a child, I would now go and do what they are doing. But I will know, I'll come out, I'll know that it can happen, do you get? And I'm prepared for it, do you get? But like, they didn't tell us this thing. Another thing I want to talk of is this documenting thing. I think that the problem is our generation, because I remember back then, if you go to somebody's house, like the first thing they give you aside food is a photo book, photo album. Do you understand? Like you're looking at it, but like our generation, like those things. Like I don't expect to go to maybe my married friend's house
and they'll
be showing me a photo book. Do you understand? Like I feel like because everything has gone digital, people don't hold those things.
That's why I value people that like actually use their Instagram like their life, like everything they put that everything what they're doing, everything. I enjoy people that like use their Instagram or some sort like that. And I don't know if it's because as you get older, we're kind of like being like our uncle. Because that time my mother call Baba for any small thing. No, that's good. Mommy don't need to call this camera.
Exactly.
Let me get the Baba photo when he did like all those things, and I'm just like, like we don't need
the funny thing in my own days when we were younger, small thing, my dad has brought that camera. He always had those, those small Nikon that they have that rope thing always on his hand. And initially, it used to cringe me out, but as we went on, I used to want to jump in front of the camera, right? Because I always enjoyed knowing that it was somebody that loved me that was behind it. But I could never, at that initial stage, overcome the point of me then being the one carrying the camera, setting the camera. I just couldn't do it, right? A friend of mine, very popular on TikTok now, she was one of the first people then that was dancing on Instagram. And I'll never forget looking at her and going, nice is wild. But today, bro,
she's very big on TikTok.
And like, it's just one of those things. I wish people were more honest. I think, one thing I also want to say, I wish people were more intentional with communicating how important people are in life. Because I think growing up, we always sort of thought, like you said, work hard, success. But the part of work hard with people, I wish Nigerians were a bit more honest about that. Because networking, right? Knowing people, like, I've literally seen
I feel like I was communicated that well with my dad. My dad would tell you, okay, this is why you're going to this school to meet other kids that might have. My dad kind of like, that's one thing I realized. My father always tell me, okay, you're in Covenant University, meet people, talk to people. Did you speak to people when you go to this thing? Or were you able to collect contact? Collect his phone number. My father is that kind of person that like, you even know, they say collect his number now. Any small thing, collect his number. My father will tell you, use the same number that you've been using. I've actually used the same number I've been using since 2011, 2012. So,
oh, nice. You
understand? Like, if people that have my number in 2015, they can call me now and it's still ring. So those kind of things. So like, my father will just kind of like emphasize the ability of networking. My father was like, you don't know is who. You don't know who can become. All those kind of things. Like my father always kind of like
I think
emphasized that.
for me in that sense, my parents did that, but the problem was I didn't find that outside my parents. Like I wasn't getting that message from people. So it's why every time I went anywhere, from uni, secondary school, everything, I always tried to, be that guy, the connector of everybody, right? But I never really understood why. It was just, I always just felt as a Nigerian, that is just personality.
Yeah.
Right? First of all, you're class captain. Then you're the one writing noisemakers list. Then you're the one that people are coming to politicize. I remove my name. I got to uni, I became ACS president. I was doing all these things. I just thought this was my personality, right? I didn't know it was later, towards the end of uni, that I realized that, hold on, because they gave me this award, right? And I was like, oh, it's purely because I know a lot of people, right? Like you want to do something and you call a guy. You want to record something, you call a guy. Like the pictures I was talking about, right? I want to digitize them now. And I was looking through my phone and I called Louis, our former producer. I was like, oh, don't you do this? And he was like, oh, yeah, I can. And like that is how life is. It's just that as we get on, we all become wealthier and then those things can trickle down, right? Like Dolly and I always talk about nepotism is always a critical part of life, right?
Yeah.
So the day you guys become very successful and you have your own production studios, now let's say I have a daughter then that wants to do media.
Yeah.
I will call you that, bro,
exactly.
my daughter, right? And the only reason I can do that is because now, well, guys, if more people understood the importance of that community and networking, I think it'll help your 20s. So I think that's one thing I wish, aside from parents, more people were deliberate about doing.
The funny thing is, everything that you've mentioned is something that our parents' generation did, or they figured out and did. It was something as long as when they got older. The first place I did IT was my father's friend's company. Like, do you understand? Like, so like it was something that they always put into consideration in terms of like even nepotism, like you said, like it was something they always did. And I feel like even time of documentation, my father would show me and Joanna's dad, like him in 1972 when they were chilling, they'll go for kind of Joanna's dad, my uncle. Any small thing, that man has whipped out his Samsung phone. This is just like, take this thing. I'm like, bro, like, see him, man, like, any small thing, I was always very annoyed. Used to annoy us, because any small thing, we should sit down together now.
Exactly,
yeah. You understand? So, like, I guess now, at that time, it would have been cringing us, but like, we're even understanding why. Do you understand? Like, my dad randomly sent videos of me, pictures of me. My dad sent me one picture one time of me coming to university, like second year or first year. It's the 18. Do you understand? And my dad just come like, and the videos are always very terrible. Like, they're never from good and good, but the main aim is that you and something is there. And then I remember, I was this, that. My mother would ask me, my mother still asked me about my friends in junior secondary school that she met. Where is so and so now? I'm not even like, I've lost contact with these people. That kind of thing. Like, do you understand? So I feel like everything that we were saying that we should do are things that like they did. And I feel like it's something you figure out going older. Yeah. So if you're listening to this podcast and you're in your early 20s or teenager, like you're actually listening to like playbook.
Exactly.
Because our parents did not tell us, like you said, our parents and external people did not tell us the way we should have heard it. You guys are listening to us now. You're actually like listening, because my parents just told me, collect his number. They did not tell me why he needs to collect his number. You don't know. They did not tell me in depth of, okay, this is why I needed to collect this person's number. This is why I needed to know this person, that kind of thing. My father would tell me, they always, and one thing about this generation is, my mom went for a secondary school association, this thing in Ekiti.
Yeah.
Bro, all those things. Like, I'm like, secondary school, they still have the groups.
Even my dad still has
do you understand? Like Facebook. My father and Aregweshola, they were classmates. Bro, Aregweshola came for my uncle's 60th birthday. Came, everything. I'm like, Daddy, so you know this person? The word is there like small boy, like, see? And it's because they kept that connection and that this thing, like, do you understand? So even if anything, we needed to do what's the stuff? Local government, this thing in Osun State, because I'm from Osun State.
I know.
Something
like a certificate to show that you're from that local government. I've forgotten the name.
Really sharp on that 1 week. So I wasn't even there. My father
Around the
also, he just
person,
ran just because of like he knows. I said, I have a
relationship.
friend. So like that's literally what network and all those things
I
do.
agree with that.
Well, another
Solid.
thing I was going to say is, so you talked about 16-year-olds and 17-year-olds.
Yeah.
You've been jealous of them.
Yes.
Listen to your person, and I agree because I do what I do because of a podcast I listen to. So I wanted to do what all of them worked in. All of them worked in the media space,
Yeah.
and I liked the life I was seeing from the outside. But they would say it on the podcast like, bro, like it's not like they would say the reality on the podcast. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And then I still follow the parts. And then let's say my first year into it, I'm like, this is what these guys were saying. I'm
They're
like,
talking
I'm
about.
about to do this, and I found another way out. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And I actually wrote to them like last time. I told them like, I'm doing what I do because of your experiences. And they were like, this is wow. They were saying this same to like, they wish somebody would have told them not to do this.
Exactly.
So we don't really have like, we don't really have a lot of people like models telling us this. That's why podcasts are very important. Anybody can start a podcast. So like the article I wrote for these guys that you were showing me, that is really what I was saying. Like you can start a podcast of you sell ACs.
Yeah.
Do you get? And like you're just literally it might not be formal, it might not be like a masterclass thing, but you're just telling other AC guys that this distributor or something. Do you understand? And like it's in a fun way, but they're learning. Do you get? And it's not something that we particularly really experienced growing up, like in our early 20s and all that, because everything was off social media. Do you understand? Like, and it's information overload, and you don't know when you're getting the right information unless you know how to filter. So
No, random fact. Sorry. I remember the whole thing that put podcasting in my head was when I was younger. I listened to radio a lot. There was this, you guys didn't grow up in Port Harcourt, so you wouldn't know. There was this lady that was always on the radio, right, on our way to school. But most times, if you stay up till 11, they have like the same recording that she did on air. They play back at 11, right? But this time without the ads, just her talking. Very, very nice lady. And that like, then my mom would come into my room like, you have school tomorrow. Why are you still up? But I'm like, it was just very soothing, right? And I just remember then, this was like probably 2002, 2003, right? Like those times where I had radio. So you put it on very low and you just be listening to the playback. I didn't know what it was then, right? But I always knew that fed into my personality of just wanting to constantly converse, ask questions. Because then this lady would always ask like married couple stuff or people. She would just be asking questions and you're there like, I don't understand what this means, but I'm enjoying the fact that she's asking and they're responding.
Flowing,
And it always, that was what shaped my personality. And all these years later, when this whole thing became a thing, I was like, let me also just start doing it. Yeah. So you never really know the impacts you have on the...
Exactly.
Yeah, so I mean, it's at the end of the day, like everything is more so about purposeful, impactful living, man. It's just like it just ties down to some of the conversations that Kanye and I have had about podcasting. Kanye will say, I've accepted I'm doing this for the next generation.
My CSR. Community service.
You understand? It's just like, I want to, because obviously, like, just like the way at that time, there were YouTubers that were laughing at, you guys are so cringe, and kind of stuff. But guys say, you shouldn't have, there was a bad time, you shouldn't have a podcast mic, you want to use this.
Exactly.
But, obviously, we're not at the part where podcast monetization is at the high time,
so now it's not about the love of the game.
Yeah, so love of the game.
It's strictly for love of the game and that kind of thing. So thinking about it, we've had comments, we've had people reach out to us that, okay, your episode on job hunting, he helped me look for ways to find job. Your episode on the drug abuse, he helped me, with my drug.
That's a solid episode, though. You guys, well done.
Yeah.
Let me say something.
Yeah.
You stole the episode, like, we were going to do it, but we never found someone that was open enough to come. I'm telling you. So when I saw it, I was like, yes, like, I'm so happy that someone...
The funny thing is that, like, that was low-key one of our first guests.
Was he
2023?
Was he not our first guest?
It wasn't our first guest.
Okay, I think it was our third.
It was our third, but we had not our podcast, we are not gotten into that part of like relate because
Relatable.
that kind of like emotional depth,
Yeah.
you know. So like that episode, I think we also even have a. We're still in contact with the guy.
It was a solid episode.
We text, I check up on him, all the kind of stuff like, how you doing? What's going on? That kind of thing. This is 2 years now. It's actually 2 years.
It's a solid thing.
2023.
So the thing is, we want to redo another episode because we didn't do it
the way
we should have done it because we didn't have, obviously, like you said, some of these things so at that time we even would want to like keep up comedic elements, that kind of thing, and we're on like time constraints at that time of the episode, so we're trying to like hurry him and kind of like get him to finish up, that kind of thing. So it was just kind of like growth into it. So like I said, man, some conversations we've had and just realized that like, like, okay, yeah, this is just for the next generation. This is just like your community service, like you said, just like purposeful living. Like sometimes I would think reason why I'm doing this podcasting is even for the money or anything, the fame or whatsoever, is like purposeful living, man. I like when people come to meet me and say, oh, you're listening to this episode. Somebody one time was going through heartbreak or something, like listen to the podcast and it helps them so much. Person dropped like a whole like episode. Like there was even one that somebody said recently that this one even kind of like, because we've had different conversations on the way we do our podcast is, if you listen to our podcast, we do it in a way like it's like old school type debates on some different topics. So this guy said, oh, the micro cheating episode drew me. I have now listened to more episodes and I love how the two hosts intermittently argue for both sides, switch their arguments as the episode progresses, and then play the devil's advocate. So there's so many, do you know anything like fun facts here about our podcast? There's so many episodes here. Before me and Isaac start saying, yeah, we'll do rock paper scissors on, okay, which side will you be?
That's nice.
Because sometimes, let's take for example, open relationship episode. Yeah. On my soul, I don't even care for open relationship. but then I lost the rock paper scissors and I had to argue. So I had to like bring up my point. So I had listeners say, oh, I can't believe that means so possible. That's how the thing. So you think I'm a bad person. I mean, I was like, oh, you don't understand. This person now listened for that my cheating episode. So like, oh, this is the angle you could come from. This is how you keep the conversation, because not everybody has the same level of thinking.
True.
Do you understand?
True.
Even that open relationship, I had supporters. I had people that
of course.
So we had people that like, will still come. So just coming from that different perspective, that's what keeps the
it's
podcast.
Beautiful, nuanced argument.
So that's literally how we just thought about, okay, I just think about the podcast as purposeful living and some things of like impactful living. And I feel like that's why I'm saying, okay, just like how I really like envy you guys keeping all the catalog of your old episodes. Because I feel like even in my 40s or 50s, like I'll sit down. When I'm in my 60s, I'll sit down and just be playing some Nigerian podcast.
Oh yeah. I say on our pod that sometimes maybe in the future I'll let my kids listen, because some things I will not be able to teach them. We're gonna hear. And the beauty of it being there is like you can see that when your dad is saying, I did this, I didn't do this. It's not that people are saying that you can hear and walk through how I did it, And this might be a bit dark, but if something happens later in life, when I'm gone, my family would always be able to hear my voice. That's another reason why it's there, like, because, like now my grandma is dead, right? And with her, I remember when we were growing up, she would read those stories and all that stuff. But now it's gone, right? But with the next generation, they can see and hear what we were doing.
I just thought of something. Sorry, like somebody can take like if when we die, somebody can take like an episode of ours and just put it in AI and
say,
and then just speaking to me in Isaac's voice,
stuff like that.
So just what you said about your grandma, I started actually saying about my grandma as well. That like, next time I go see her, she like do like a video.
Yeah,
Stuff,
it's important. It's
and
important.
I went to see. I obviously have videos of her carrying my niece and nephew,
Yeah.
like, and I'm just thinking, like maybe like voice recording, all those kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Like,
It's
people
important.
listen to is
It's
those are the
important.
things. Those are the things that lead to documentation.
Well, I want to ask Isaac something though.
Yeah.
How would you say you measure your achievement in 2020 in your 20s? Like, would you say do you think you've measured pretty much, or you in your head it's like, well, there's still time for me to measure stuff?
And did you tie your worth to like your achievements?
To like earnings?
Achievements or like your earnings? Like did you tie like in your 20s?
How will I measure it? I think, okay, in terms of achievements, I didn't tie my achievements to myself at all, actually. A lot of my strength comes from the sheer belief that I can do things, right? Like, I think earlier on, even when we started the podcast, was when I realized that this self-esteem thing, a lot of people don't have it. And sometimes when you do have it, you have to be careful that people don't talk you out of it.
Yeah.
Right. So I grew up in a family where from young, my parents always felt, ask questions, do things, do whatever. Did they shout at you at school? I'll go and talk to them. How dare them? And doing that and then being younger and being academically good, right?
Yeah.
I never had any reason to doubt myself, right? So it was always like, if I want to do something, I'll go and learn, I'll do it. If I don't know how to do it, I'll go and ask. Somebody will tell me how to do it, right? And my dad would always tell us then that I don't really care about the results. I care that you put in your best, right? And funny enough, he helped us all the time because I knew that I could go to school and it never happened, but I could come last. But I know that I did my best and my parents saw that and that was more important for them. So he helped build me into that. So by the time all these other things came, like money and all that, like I say, for instance, like, because I'm in finance, right? I'm not, like, it doesn't make me happy making money. Like, the money itself isn't the thing. It's the fact that I know how to do it. That is the thing, the process. I always believe 100% to the process, never the results. And that helps me, right? So I don't really tie my achievements, like myself, to my achievements. Sometimes it does happen where maybe you're broke. And normally as a guy, your first instinct is, I can't do anything no more. I'm down or I'm sad, right? But it helps over time to draw on the times that you've overcome that, right? So I'm the kind of guy who I always fail, right? People always laugh, but the fact that I failed before makes it easier for me to then do the next time, right? So it's always been that for me, the fact that I know that I can jump in head. I remember the first time I wanted to learn how to swim. They said, oh, wear your floater and do it. I said, that is a lie, I'm entering. And I sang. I'm telling you, it was the lights. I said, like, the shallow part. Yeah. And the guy said, no, wear your floater. This boy, you will kill yourself. I said, Shebi, you're here, you're the teacher. And my mom was like, and truly, I jumped in. And I didn't come out initially. I'm like, yeah, but eventually, like, the guy jumped in, brought me out, put my floater now, and I've seen that, okay, I truly need this. If not, I would die. Yeah. And like, it's the kind of person I am. I would always jump in and figure it out later, right? So it has helped me not to tie my worth so much to the achievements itself. Then you were asking something before. Yeah, like, have you measured your achievements? Okay, so the thing with me is, in terms of achievements and measuring, I think I'm a bit hard on myself in the sense of, because the goal for me is never really doing anything, nothing ever feels enough, right? Because it's always like, when you're like, in quotes, a high achiever, even doing something just feels like this is what should have been done anyway, right? So it's a mindset that I've had to slowly unlearn. But a lot of the time for me, I don't measure, right? Like, even whenever we talk about podcasting, like, for me, I don't really see the fact that there might be people with millions of views or with all these things. Yeah. Because to me, I'm doing it and I'm doing it every day. And that's enough for me, right? Like, it wasn't even until we met, it wasn't until we started talking that you were like, oh, more 50 episodes. And I was like, is that really a thing? You were like, oh, more, that's it. Because for me, it was the fact that I was showing up every day. I didn't even care so much about where the numbers were initially. Because I was like, but then people start writing and they're like, oh my God, you guys, your consistency. I'm like, are you not meant to be are you not meant to start something and want to be better?
Yeah.
So I don't really measure that way. It's a good and bad thing. Over the years, I've learned that, you should take your wins, right? And which I've started doing, right? I think growing up, I was always taking my wins. I just didn't know that they were the wins that I should be taking. So for me, showing up was the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And I kept showing up, and I would take, anytime I talk, I'm like, oh, you guys know that so far we have not missed an episode for 1 week, right? And someone even wrote in, I was like, he loves how no matter how small they win, I take it. But for me, I never really knew it as that. I just knew it as I've showed up again, I've showed up again, I've showed up again, right? And so that's always how it has been for me. Never really been one to measure myself outside facing in. I've just always felt that I've come from a place that literally I sit on the shoulders of my parents, right? Like there's nothing in this life that I want to do that my parents don't feel that I can do. It then now becomes a case of, do you really want it or is it necessary? Right? Like I grew up in a family where no idea was stupid. Right? Like I want to stand on the chair and jump, break your leg. That's the kind of place I came from. Right? I want to maybe go and see my friend at night. We are not going because it's late. Maybe tomorrow we'll go. Those kind of things. There was always that, this is why, do it kind of upbringing. So it helped me really build my self-esteem, which then helps me tackle life.
Parenting was like a very...
Grew up in a family that loves you.
Yeah. Like,
yes, I grew up with love at
it
home.
was a big factor.
Yes, it was, because also growing up in Port Harcourt then, we had... Port Harcourt wasn't the safest place after a while. But before it got there, my family was very close-knit, right? And the people that my parents let in around us were also good people.
Yeah.
So I always felt that was always enough for me. Like you go to church, then I remember when I was younger, I'll go to church, I'll preach. And people be like, hey, and it's like, oh, at least, you're trying. Keep doing it, keep doing it. I remember the first time I preached in church, I was stuttering. But then somebody came on stage and just said, just continue, it's fine. Right? That kind of upbringing.
Yeah.
Instead, I never had that shame him off the... So it helped.
Yeah, and I feel like even with me as well, do you understand? Like I grew up with a mom and dad that like, you can say, okay, I want to be a DJ instead of a doctor. My father would obviously want you to be a doctor, and my father would be like, I hear it. My father would, even if it doesn't make sense to leave your medical career, my father would say, okay, I understand why you want to be a DJ. It's good. DJs are now doing parties, that kind of thing. However, I'm like, you can make more money as a doctor, And then even if it was more so like, it never shamed any decision I was making, but like, it will guide you. Like, and I feel like that's
two sides of the coin.
Yeah, like, and it was more so of, that's kind of like thinking my father always had. My father's always like, a problem is not really a problem. Okay, problem has come, let's find a solution.
Yes, exactly.
Don't talk too much about the problem.
Don't dwell on problem. That's how my father is. So like, my father, even if it was a very stupid decision, he would just think that like, okay, actually like, when I got to like 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, my father would come from the angle of, okay, this is the decision you've made, and I know you're you're a human being. Like we've sent you to school, you have a level of education and a level of critical thinking to know what's right for you. Because my father will tell you that nobody wants bad for themselves. Do you understand? Think about it. So I will not think of hurting myself. I will not see fire. I want to jump into fire. So like, obviously, like that's the kind of mindset he has. So it's only just to, you know what, instead of you're seeing fire now, like, okay, you want to go where the water is, why don't you use the water to shield the fire? That kind of thing. Like, that's how he's always like, even if I end up doing what my father says, like, like he convinced you to follow what he did. It wouldn't like show you, to make us to look as if you made it show yourself. So like, family upbringing also tells it plays a huge role, And I've always you mentioned something about you wish people told you, okay, 20 was this difficult or 20 to drain you mentally. I just wonder, like, how does overthinking, anxiety, like, how does it show up for you? And in addition to that, like, mentally, like what's your like go-to coping mechanism for like staying afloat mentally, all through your 20s? Like what did you start to like discover that, okay, these things are taking a toll on me, like these things are hard for me to comprehend?
I think for me, that's a very deep question. For me, I'm a planner, right? So I tend to write and at least plan as much as I can. Right? I say, like, I always play God in my life, in the sense of all the variables I can control, I try to control to the best of my knowledge, directly or indirectly, right? I always do that. So sometimes when things get overwhelming, I have this ability to converse with myself in third person, right? And I think it started off from, I think probably when I was younger, right? I would just always ask myself, how does Isaac actually feel? Right. So I step out and like I'm having conversations like, okay, how do you actually feel about this, right? Like what actually is annoying you, right? Or what actually is overwhelming you. And I would, always try to write it down. And again, third person type of thing. It did help. It has helped me so far. So whenever I'm getting overwhelmed or I'm stressed or something, those conversations help, right? Like, okay, in this moment, the issue here is actually not that, you're stressed. The issue here is maybe you failed an exam and is compounding, and now you're this. Okay, how do we dissociate and solve the fact that it's because you failed the exam that you're here? Right. And I mentioned earlier on the episode, like, because I spent my formative years abroad, it's a more individualistic society. So you do have to solve your problems yourself. And a sense of satisfaction comes from the fact that, I had this problem yesterday. I solved it 2 weeks later. I can pull on that and move forward, right? A lot of my vices in the past may not have been good. Like right now, I've not drank alcohol for 3 years, right? Yeah, so it's one of those. I used to, back in the day, whenever I got stressed, I'll take sugar, cake or ice cream or whatever. I used to stress eat. Right, that was one thing. But then once I start stress eating, then I now have that conversation of what is leading to this stress eating guy. And then it's like, more exam is coming, or more this babe gave me an L, or more, I'm having this, or I'm having that issue, right? Sometimes, I remember one time I almost lost my mind when I thought that there was this babe that I liked, but she had walked off with another guy, right? And everybody knew. And it was affecting me so much. I was eating. And then after a while, I started reading books on habits, and then I learned how to channel distress into something positive, right? So I say on the podcast a lot, one thing I always do is push-ups. Once I get overwhelmed or stressed, instead of eating now, I'll just start doing push-ups. So anytime you find me in the gym for a long time, just know that I'm walking away from stress, right? So things like that. I also, like, I'm a very factual person. I say it as it is, even to myself, and it helps me when problems come. I find good ways to an extent, objectively assess my problems. And I'm very honest with myself, right? Some people, that it's your own fault, but you'll be dancing around it. I grew up in a place where it's like, you messed up, or you messed up, let's solve it, right? I think that initial process of saying, I messed up, for me, I get there quite quickly. Even to the point sometimes where if I see that somebody is not helping me move something forward, right, I'm just like, what, fine, it's not you, it's me. How do we move forward? Because for me, it's more about how do I move forward than this blame game type of thing. So that's it. A lot of my habits now, in terms of when I get overwhelmed, I try to switch them positive. I write. So I think 3 years ago, I started learning how to write with my left hand. So I was hoping to be ambidextrous by 30. So that could also be a form of stress relief.
How's that going?
So far, so good, actually. I can do a good amount with my left hand, actually.
Oh, that's crazy.
I just can't sign yet, but I can write. So I
never ever write right.
My right handwriting is terrible too, but it was a habit I started, right? Just, again, to show myself that I can do something else, because it's very easy to get into bad habits once you're in your 20s, right? Smoking. I remember in uni, I used to smoke for a bit.
Yeah.
I stopped because I was asthmatic, right? And I knew I was only smoking out
Imagine
of
you're
peer
trying
pressure.
to be wayward.
Exactly. You know when you want to be wayward, but it's not going.
But life cannot
I'm
allow you
telling
to
you,
be
like,
wayward.
first one, like, initially I started with the normal nicotine, whatever. Bro, the first day my guys gave
Snooze
me,
on
I
them.
coughed. It was so embarrassing. Right. After that, my guy was like, try the menthol ones instead. Then I was doing that for a while. But then I was like, this isn't really me because it was spoiling my vibe, like I didn't like it. Like I would show up to class smelling like cigarettes, or I didn't like that whole thing. So I stopped. Then after that, I picked up, running, I picked up writing. I picked up for a short time Sudoku, right? Crosswords.
I can play Sudoku very well.
Exactly. All those things. So
that's the only game I have on my phone.
Fair, me too. So all these things are like a few habits. Then I started talking, then therapy. I've always been open about therapy.
You know the thing is, just in addition to what you said, I realized, like I think 3 years ago or 3 years ago. I mean, I'm not even far close to I'm not as close to my 30 years. But I realized that like I'm an adult, like I moved out from my parents' house when I was 21. Yes. I moved out from my parents' house when I was 21. And I realized I'm an adult, I can do whatever I want to do. Do you understand? Like, showing the angle, like, I can decide not to eat rice this week. Yeah, just for that purpose. I can decide to start whatever I want to start. On time, I was doing 10K steps around my area. I just, obviously, it didn't last 2 weeks. It didn't last, but like, that's the freedom that comes with being in your 20s. Like, you can make that decision for yourself that this is what I want to do, that kind of thing. Like, me, I picked up just like habits, like you said, I said, you know what? One time, so I said, okay, I want to be laying in my bed every morning when I wake up. Obviously, I did that for like 3-4 months. Maybe like some other time, just laughed or just sleep in bed and it just didn't work out. And even things like I started, because so many things about like distraction and coping mechanism and all that kind of stuff. And similarly to you, there's somebody like Isaac comes to me, I'm only licking sweet or chewing gum. Every time I have a very sweet tooth.
Yeah,
do you understand? Like you would, I'm something like I feel like I needed to unwind. Do you understand? Like if you know me, I like sweet things, and that kind of stuff. Like my Thursday football, I don't joke with my Thursday football, and it's because of like I can easily say, okay, I'm not going to play football this Thursday, like, you understand? But anything I'm doing, like, it was just more of like having that habit of saying every Thursday I'll show up. And luckily for me, it's like a community too. We'll meet up. If I want to go to Ladipo, I have networking, people, so it was more so of, in your 20s, I picked these things, probably because of like, I felt like it was something that I needed to just, keep me in check in terms of like mentally as a whole, similarly to you, in terms of like, okay, I know that I don't play my Thursday football. Recently now, like last year, I picked up fragrances. Like I've always liked perfumes. I've always liked perfume. I think even one time in one of your live shows in 2022, you guys shared this room spray. You did a collab. And I came like a year later that I need that room spray again. And I contacted this stuff. Like, so I like fragrances, and I started going in depth into like niche fragrances, understanding, even times down to like same profile, and that's my current hobby. Like I even opened an Instagram page that I wanted to, obviously got taking that, but that's the freedom that being in your 20s has. You can pick up things like the way you decided you want to start using left hand.
Exactly.
I'll never think that far. Like what actually make me want to start thinking of writing in my left hand. So that's actually the kind of things I've tried to start. Do you understand?
The thing is, funny enough, for me, I'm the kind of guy that if I start things, I always want to see it through.
Yeah.
That's my personal gift / curse.
The funny thing is that like I don't even always see everything through, but I'll just start and like now, funnily enough, I sent you a snap when I started the gym earlier this year.
Yes, I remember.
I was like, first time I saw Isaac Kanye last year, I was doing like 10 pull-ups or so. Like, I'm like, I knew when I was going to the gym, we'll post, but like I didn't know like it was that deep into gym. And I was like, oh, you spent 6 months or so in the gym.
Yeah.
I'm like, since when? Like, when did you start? Like, you, I see where you get from.
Exactly.
Do you know what I'm saying?
2023 this November was when I started.
No, I remember. I know the last time we recorded with them, she talked about going to the gym or something like that.
I wanted to get into that.
Yeah, so when I feel like it was in deep. So like me, so when I started, like I sent him a video, like, oh, like I was asking him about pull-ups and learning and stuff. That time I couldn't do one. Now I'm like pushing 11.
Yeah, 12. I saw it.
Now
like,
I'm really like wicked. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So like it's just the growth, like, okay, picking up. And bruh, the funny thing is that even if I come back from work or something by like 7 p.m.,
you still enter.
p.m., I have to try and
go,
yeah,
of
like,
course.
the discipline.
Of course. Yeah.
Normally I would like be so lazy and like, oh, they don't go, Joe. Nice don't go. But my housemate and I, Michael, like, Jonathan, would just like, would come back and just be like, yeah, like, he has added motivation based on the fact that, like, yeah, like, for just the fact that, like, you're actually showing up. Like,
I think I want to even add to that thing you said. I think one of my things I've learned about my 20s is I'm quite disciplined and I strive to be better with my discipline. So it does help. A lot of life problems can be solved if you're disciplined and you have a routine. Yeah, I think naturally from young, I've always been disciplined, so it helps.
If you start an activity and you're consistent with it, I think it affects every
the rest of your life. Yeah.
Like when I became consistent with football last year, I became consistent with a lot of other things. Like, it was not a chain reaction. So I used to be lazy with doing like laundry or just even pack my clothes and take it to the laundry man or something. I'll just be like, well, it's sunny outside, I'll go in the night. But now it's like I play football and I don't want my football shorts.
Exactly, it spills.
So I have to take out my laundry and all that. So it now spills into a lot of other things. So if you're consistent with a habit.
So I mean, I feel like that's something that can also help anybody that's listening, man. Because you can legit do anything. That time, you can. Even one time, I wasn't really going to the gym, but I used to go for like dance class. Like, I remember on my story, on my close friend's story, I would go for the dance class and I was learning how to dance for a minute.
Yeah, I remember. No, it was nice to see. It was different.
Yeah. So I could just like wake up and, unlike you, I'm not probably I'm not as disciplined to seeing those things through. But I'll do it because I can do it. So like I feel my senses. Like I would enjoy it. I would do these things. I know that like, okay, I've so many things like I'm never shied from like experience and activity things.
Yes.
Like, I would always do it because this is the time for you to do it.
Exactly.
Like, there is really no shame. Recently, I hopped on Cutty's YouTube stuff. If you asked me 2 years ago to do that, then I'll say no. Yeah, because I'm like, crazy.
Like, no, yeah, I get you.
If you ask me, like, I'm never joking, even last year, say I might have said no.
Yeah.
There's so many things, those kind of things.
I almost said no this year.
Do you understand? Like, do you understand? Like, it's living out of a comfort zone. Remember when we were having the conversation about video podcasting?
Yes.
About transcending? Do you know the kind of like comfort zone? Like, me and Isaac got older and I said, let's do this. Let's do it. The first video podcast, we had like Hennessy, like let's drink it. Rubbish video, like
that video will never see the light of day.
Yeah, but like it was just the thing that like me, I have this mindset of it's like when we wanted to do our live show, we didn't have any sponsor, this kind of thing. I'm like, you know what? Let's pay for venue. We paid for venue. We don't have anything after. We don't have any plan after. Like we planned for it. Like we've said what let's do, but we just I don't like the venue is no refund. But the fact that we've paid for it, we have to do it.
So you have to.
So that's how I do my things sometimes. Like I'll say, okay, you know what?
Jump in.
I've paid this guy, so I have to.
Yeah, it's literally like that. Like
but that's life now.
Just do it. Like once you just start. Like, you continue.
Gym. I paid for quarterly the plan, so like, I have no choice. I have to go for 3 months.
Exactly. Like even football too. Like I did a month. Like I'll be paying. I pay like about 30K a month, and then I'll be using Uber, GoCom 8K per distance. So let's say in a month I'm spending like 90 something K on football itself, and I'm like, God, this is a lot of investment. But I started it, and it's now like
it's now a habit. It's now part of solid.
And like we're in the age of social media, man. Like you can literally learn anything. Like I go into like fragrances like through like social media, just like watching videos and stuff. Like
I started that too. I started collecting perfumes.
Yeah.
But my problem is consumerism. I'm trying not to overdo.
The thing is, I think about collection is like collecting perfumes is obviously like you need to obviously like know what you like, and you also need to know me. Every time I'm even having conversations with Isaac, like with my own Isaac, like I would
See my own eyes.
Very possessive.
My nigga.
Things like that. Like obviously, and I didn't about perfume collecting. It's not even an investment. It's not necessarily you're collecting gold. Or
Yeah,
collecting,
exactly. It's just what you
do you
like.
understand? Like you're just collecting, and you use that bottle. And that's the end.
That's the end, yeah.
You say that, okay, you use this fragrance. Oh, I like it. I'll repurchase. I won't repurchase.
Yeah.
So those kind of things are like, okay, like it's more so of how it makes me feel, how I enjoy having those, using that perfume.
Yeah.
And also the compliments he gets. Oh, you smell good. It makes me feel good as well. But like, it's more so of how I feel about, okay, I've gotten a new fragrance.
Yeah.
Sprays. It lasts longer than this one.
Yeah,
if
the
you use
notes
this
are
way,
different.
the notes,
the dry down.
Oh, this one is the dry down. The opening is different. Okay, I like sweet and spicy. I like the cinnamon, cardamoms, vanilla type ones.
Once the conversion enters fragrance,
let's go back. Let's go back.
But yeah, it's more so of us just having that habit and things.
But just to say, not all habits were good in my 20s. I did have some bad ones. Like I mentioned, smoking. I never did drugs. There was a period in my life I used to watch a lot of porn because I was stressed. Right. But then after a while, you have to, again, when you become honest about your habits, then you switch them around. Yeah.
Before you go, I have one question to ask you. Like, how was it like transitioning back to Nigeria?
So,
if you're in the UK now, maybe you're struggling for sponsorship. Maybe you can pick something from this answer.
So when I came back that time, fun fact, I landed in Nigeria on the 4th of January. By 5th of January, I was on my way to Katsina for camp. I'm telling you. I landed that night. Then I stayed in a hotel. Following day, went to Oshogbo, picked my suitcase, came back to Lagos, flew to Kano that night. Then, the following night rather, I flew to Kano, spent the night in Kano, drove to Katsina for NYSC, right? Did NYSC in Katsina. I wanted something there in particular they didn't give me. I redeployed to Ibadan. Then I did 1 full year in Ibadan. Then I moved back to Lagos. So again, Nigeria was different then, right? And I had been working, so I had money, right? So I was a bit insulated from the realities initially, right? So even in camp, right, because I had just come back with pounds. I bathed every day with hot water. I would pay people to wash the toilet before I used it. I was paying people to wash all my clothes because I couldn't be bothered. I was eating in Mami Market. So
I'm
telling you, like truly, like even it was so funny that the guys at the camp,
I did the same things in camp.
The guys at the camp, when they saw me, they were like, that we could have walked it, that you didn't have to stay. But I was like, no, I want the experience, but on my own terms. Right? And that's how we became friends. In fact, I still talk to a lot of the soldiers till today because it was like, it was fun.
I don't know why people always shame camp. I love
I love the conversation on Twitter right now. And like it's pissing me off. Like you're like, if you enjoy camp, you don't have it.
To be honest, for me, like I said, I was doing it on my own terms, but I was still there. Right? It was still quite fun.
The things you did were not far. Like I didn't my meal card.
I gave it to my I gave it to my bunkmates. I
still have my meal card though. One of my guys was using it, but I have it just because you never know the day I want to run for president. They'll say I didn't save. So it was initially returning to Nigeria. I was initially living in an IJGB bubble, right? So the money helped me to shield a bit from the realities. But after a while, it wasn't so easy, right? I wanted to actually truly start living like as a Nigerian, right? And it wasn't so easy, right? You imagine going from entering trains and buses to now you're jumping bike. It wasn't easy, but me as a person, I enjoyed that change, right? I enjoyed the dynamism of it, right? I was looking for jobs. It was also quite humbling because all of a sudden, like I said, I was in Katsina. I wanted to work with the wind farm because that was where I did my master's on. And all I heard was Hausa. And next thing, my PPA was not where I was begging for. I was like, no, I don't have time for this. I'm not living here because this is what I want. So I left. I tried to manage that period well, that whole year. Right. But truth is, I did travel abroad like twice during NYSC. I mean, I made a know that's past a bit. But
you're not
like,
supposed to leave the country.
exactly. But like, withdrawal, right? I was still like going, coming. So it was still fun. But the truth is, at some point, I had to remove all that and start immersing myself. And it wasn't easy. But then where we were living in Lekki was good. There was 24 hours light. So the light power was okay. The roads were good at that time. Things were generally okay. I mean, remember now, this time, dollar was like, what, 360?
Yeah.
360.
The country hadn't gotten, so things were still okay, right? You could still enjoy. Then they were paying us 19.8.
Yeah.
You could still live a bit okay, right? Shortbread was still affordable, all those kind of
Like
things,
300,
right? Yeah, things were still good. So for me, I think it was the best time to come back to Nigeria. It was still like a seamless transition. It was by the time we got to COVID period that I was like, I don't think this was a good decision. No.
Yeah.
Right? Because things started to get bad, expensive food. I remember then with 10K, I would eat like fresh vegetables for 1 month. Right? Yeah, because then how much was cabbage? How much was carrots? Right? Like with 10K, you've bought it, you've put it in your fridge, you're solid, had a chef, all those kind of things. So it was good. But as things started to get expensive, I think it's like frog in hot water. As you're increasing the temperature, you won't know when it's time to jump out again. But you're already there and now the water is hot. It wasn't too bad. I think I got a job, which was okay. I was earning quite well. I had a car, so I was able to live that life to an extent. I started a podcast, so I was still enjoying myself. But as things got on and things got difficult, I always questioned the decision, right? If this was the right thing to do, because the country became very difficult.
I mean, just to round up, because we're not going 6 hours.
True.
What do you want your future self to sort of like remember about your 20s phase of your life? Like, if you were like, okay, Isaac Kanye, or you want to just like your grandkids or your kids, just listen to this podcast and just like say, okay, let's hear what daddy had to say about, or let's hear what grandpa had to say about like my 20 phase of his life. Like, what do you want yourself to like remember your kids or your grandkids?
I think I want them to remember that my 20s was full of life and coming of age, right? Because if you listen to the Isaac that started the podcast versus the Isaac that ended the podcast, you could see the growth, right? And I'm grateful for the fact that I've been able to live and grow in like a trackable manner, right? Like you go from saying the most reckless shit, right, to now saying reckless shit, but you say it a bit better. So now people hear the message. They don't just hear the controversy, right? You go from having strong beliefs in one thing to learning that life is nuanced. It's not always just black and white. People are living in that gray, right? I think what I really love so far is just the fact that I've been able to live and do, right? Even though in a lot of cases it's been me trying to control all the outcomes, but still the effort is there. The discipline is there.
Enjoy the process.
Like I said, 100% to the process, always trying new things, always being open about failing, standing for something and growing in that.
Yeah.
Right. I think that those are some things that I would love, like I was saying, if my kids should listen, I would love them to be able to see that, to pick that. I would love to look back on my 20s and know that it wasn't just that I was one of those people that lived it safe. I, ventured out. I tried. I failed. I loved. I lived. I laughed openly. Right. And it's all there for you to see. I learned. I was saying on the pod, right? I did my MBA and people walked with me throughout that process on the podcast. Yeah. And there was one time where I did a presentation and I came last. The prize was 100K.
I love Lagos Business School.
Exactly. And I came last and I was talking about that whole process and how funny it was, right? I spoke a lot about all the L's I had taken, right? Like sometimes you message somebody that you guys have already been talking and you think, oh, let me just take this person out for a drink. Then you message them and they just air you, right? Being open about those kind of experiences and seeing the funny side, seeing the lessons. Maybe I shouldn't have asked so directly. Maybe I should have played politics a bit more. All those experiences, I'm grateful that I was able to do it because now, as I enter my 30s, I can draw back on something, right? I always say sorry, I don't know if your podcast, if your listeners are open to this, but I'm always an advocate for a whole phase, right?
Yeah.
Have your whole phase so that by the time you've done your whole phase and you've been in the streets, when you are ready to come out, nobody can bullshit you as to what it is they want to sell you. You know yourself, you've done it, you know, right? Like I always tell people, fail, right? And I failed, like I've done things and I can say categorically, I don't want to do this because I've tried it.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
I've tried it, I've come out of it. And I think that's what I want my 20s to be for people, to show people that do it, learn it, fail from it, have those experiences. Because now, it's not at 31 that somebody wants to message me and slide in my DMs and be giving me all this like wash kind of talk. Bro, I've done this, I've been there, done that, move on, right? It's not now that somebody wants to start telling me, oh, work for exposure. I mean, come on now. I've already seen exactly. Enough. Like sometimes now I wake up and I'm like, oh my, that guy did me dirty. And I know it won't happen again because I have those experiences. So that's the thing. I think your 20s should be, on a final note, gathering experiences, becoming who you are, right?
Yeah.
You can't be who you were at 20 and be the same person at 29. You have to have grown.
Yeah.
Somebody has to have broken your heart. Like I always talk about Igbo women on the pod, right? Like stuff like that. I have my experiences. You can't tell me now that I should jump into certain relationships because I know where it will end, right? Like sometimes now people will say things like you were saying, our parents were doing things then that now we understand, right? Like now if someone tells me, oh, go to that party, just meet people, I know that there's a reason. You can't be telling me now and I'll be shy and saying, I don't want. Like, I know life is not for your, comfort zone. Venture out, live, gather experiences. Now, as I'm getting to 40, or no, not yet, but as I'm going on,
your road to 40.
My road to 40, I have experiences to pull on people and life. So, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming on. These are our longest episodes. Aside from the ones
we've done before. I'm grateful, man. You guys pulled me out of retirement.
Our top 3 longest episodes.
With this guy.
But yeah,
thank you guys. This was so much
I'm very
fun.
proud of you and Dolly, man.
Thank you so much.
I'm very happy to have known you guys and be part of your journey as well.
Thank you so much, man.
You guys can, do end of the year live show, just retirement live show.
Something for retirement.
Just some,
Who knows? We own our IP, we own everything we can.
So
I'm still advocating for Road to 40 shows.
I mean, shout out to Dolly. Dolly, if you're listening, we love you so
shout
much.
Out to Dolly.
Shout out to Dolly.
The yang to my ying.
The funny thing is even there's some episodes where you just hear Isaac and Dolly going at it.
Back and forth, man.
That's how passionate they are on the episodes and how emotional they are on the episodes.
Let me tell you guys this funny story. So, my ex listens to Road to 30.
Okay.
So, as at the time we came the first time we came on your podcast, me and her had stopped talking.
Okay.
So, later on, a year later or so, we now started talking again. She was like, she listened, she was trying to forget about me. And then she listened to me on Road to 30. I was like, why would these people I love so much be associating with this
guy that I'm trying to cut off?
It was so funny, man.
Lovely stuff. But thank you guys for having me on. You guys keep doing what you're doing, man.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
We'll keep up the legacy.
I'm always available, even though I'm in retirement.
Consultancy is something.
Yeah, I want to save my voice for my 60s.
You have
280 plus 3 episodes, right? Where you can find my voice. So for now, I'm retiring.
Yeah. Thank you so much, man.
Thanks so much for coming.
No problem. Appreciate it.
Make sure you comment Isaac Kanye vlog. There's no 2 Isaac Kanye, though.
Exactly.
Just search Isaac Kanye on YouTube, you guys. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you comment. Make sure you like, and you guys should just drop. I have a question I need everybody to ask themselves.
Okay.
I feel like everybody should comment because it's at the end of this part. I feel like everybody should comment what they want their future self to remember about that 20s phase. Because as Isaac was saying, right, I'm just as you're talking, I entered deep thoughts, I zoned out just thinking about my life. That what do I actually when Isaac drafted the questions and I looked through it and I had this question. There's some questions we didn't even ask, funnily enough. But then I look at that question and then just hear you answer, and I'm just saying, will I even be as calculated, or will I? Probably I'm not yet at my 30s.
Probably.
Because I just thought about that. What actually like my future self would think about, like, what do I want my future self to remember about this phase of my life? So, you know, and yeah, like I feel like everybody should comment on actually like Spotify, YouTube, everywhere, and all the other podcast platforms. Just comment what you want your future self to remember about your 20s phase about your life. And see you guys. You guys can also tweet at us. See you guys next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.